What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is the Blacklist Season 10, Episode 7, The Freelancer Part 2. It's interesting that we've gone from, you've got the Blacklister's name, and then if they repeated, it would be the Blacklister's name conclusion, and now we're having so many Blacklisters repeating. We've already had the Freelancer, and then last season I'm pretty sure we saw the Freelancer conclusion, and now we've got, or was that earlier this season? I don't even remember now. But now we've just got Part 2. It's kind of funny, but I mean, this one's better than the past two have been. It kept me guessing. I wasn't really sure what the plan was with the Freelancer, what he's doing, but I like the how they've brought it in, how they've used him, how Wu Jing is trying to prove that connection between Reddington and the FBI. I think it's clever, and I think using him in this way is a clever way to do it. So I thought it was a very nice setup. It's something that is not inherently obvious right off the bat. So the question is, who is he trying to convince? And so this guy at the end, apparently Marvin Gerard used their guys last season. I don't recognize him. I'm assuming they're probably going to tell us who he is and remind us who he is in the next episode or whatever, or whenever he becomes relevant. But yeah, this is part of the problem with not having seen a lot of these seasons for so long is this could be a guy that popped up maybe a few seasons ago, or maybe in like the third, fourth, fifth season. I don't remember those seasons at all. So, yeah, I hope they do a good job of reminding me, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I do remember that episode, and not, wait, when did this happen again? Because that would be really bad. But I think it's a better episode, like I said, because it was not so straightforward. You know, whenever they were questioning some of the people that they saved at that hotel, and they were trying to figure out, you know, who could the target be, and they were talking to all these different people. At first, I was thinking, okay, so it feels like this is going to be obvious. You know, you've got a couple of ones that, yeah, they look like somebody might want them dead, and then you've got the guy that's just super high, not all there. And my mind went to, okay, if he's the one they're trying to kill, this is way too obvious. Because how many times have we seen this done before where, really? This one guy, he was just super high. Why do they want him dead? Well, it turns out he actually worked for some secret corporation or something along those lines. I swear I've seen that storyline before. Where the person you didn't. I mean, well, I guess it's just another play on the person you least expect is either the bad guy or the one that they wanted dead. So I'm glad that it wasn't as straightforward as he was trying to kill somebody. Because, again, it would have made it less interesting for me. It would have been too predictable. So the fact that they managed to play with the expectations a little bit, and even the fact that apparently the Freelancer now, I'm assuming because Wu Jing has taught him, apparently knows karate or some sort of martial arts. Because yeah, he was kicking some ass there at the end, and even managed to somehow get away. Excuse me, while Dembe and Wrestler were distracted while he was in handcuffs. So either that's no longer the Freelancer. Either some like they've replaced him and given him a new face that looks like Viselli's, and so that's how he's now knows all of this martial arts and stuff. Or Wu Jing is instructing the people working for him now in the art of martial arts, so that way they're more capable of taking on the FBI. I don't know which one it's going to be. If I had to take a guess, it's more likely that it's the second one, that he's teaching Viselli how to fight and all of that. But I mean, it is possible. It could be a fun little surprise, because I don't remember who it was that gave people new faces. I feel like there was a Blacklister that did that, though. You know, managed to give somebody a new identity, created like a mask of a person. But I don't remember. First of all, I don't remember if that actually is accurate or if I'm just combining that. Because there have been other. I mean, we saw the one that gave the people new identities and made them look like people that they were trying to protect, so they had them die and be like, oh, these people died, but in reality gave them a new identity and all that. I could be combining that with like other shows maybe, but so I don't know for sure that that is something that happened in the Blacklist, and that is a Blacklister that exists, and even if they do, I don't remember if they survived or not. There's a chance. You know, there's a chance that Wu Jing could have gotten their information and said, hey, so we need some of my guys to look like these other people. I don't know. It's an interesting thought. I don't know if we'll find that out for sure, or if we'll just because they didn't even seem surprised by the fact that Vasily managed to whoop their asses, and I'm thinking he's not. I don't remember him being this good of a fighter before. So are we not? We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to ignore it. But yeah, I mean, all in all, good start to these next 3 episodes. So let's hope they can keep it going from here. Don't slip back into that predictable old shit that we saw in the last two. But anyways, on to the next one. I'll see you there. And now episode 8, The Troll Farmer Part 2. And next one's Part 3, according to the episode. So I will say that is one thing that it sucks not watching it as it happens, as it comes out, because especially in shows like this, whenever the titles sort of give you a clue as to what's coming next. I've tried not to look down past, but the way Netflix works, whenever I'm scrolling, it'll show me the previous episode, the one I'm about to watch, and then the next one coming up. So I did see Troll Farmer Part 2 and then Part 3 right after it. So I don't know exactly how he's going to play into the next episode, but I knew he wasn't going to completely be done in this one. But as far as this episode is concerned, not bad. I actually kind of find it ironic. I don't know why that sounded weird to me. Anyways, I find it kind of ironic that I just finished season 2 in my rewatch like last week, and it ended with Liz on the run. So they started talking about, oh yeah, the troll farmer, he helped Liz and Red when they were on the run, or when she was on the run before. I was like, oh, so it's in season 3 then. I wonder what episode it would have, like, how close was I to seeing these guys before? Apparently it's the first episode of season 3. So if I just started season 3, I would have hopefully remembered these guys. But yeah, I don't really remember their story. They also didn't give me any clips to work off either, so I have no clues. Don't really know or remember anything about how they helped Liz and Red, but they did a good job at least of reminding me what they do, creating these fake events and showing how they utilize the chaos to get what they need to accomplish done. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun episode seeing them work on trying to get this thing that was, I suppose, going to expose everything that Reddington had done with the task force before. And that was kind of it for most of this episode. It was just them trying to stop him. They managed to catch him, managed to track him down, and then trying to catch Wu Jing by using him as bait, by setting up a meet. But then, of course, it's not Wu Jing that shows up, it's Vasily that shows up, and then Reddington gets Vasily. And that's kind of where we leave off on that front. But what I am interested to see is Reddington says he's apparently been hiding something from the task force, something big. And he said it's going to bring this war to Wu Jing to an end within 72 hours. If that's the case, I would assume that we're probably getting close to the mid-season finale. If he's right, that means by the mid-season finale, Wu Jing will be gone. We will have done that, completed that, and then maybe move on to whatever the end game for the show is going to be. Again, I have no ideas about that, but I don't really know what to expect as far as what is his end game. You know, the guy that Wu Jing was talking to at the end of last episode, still don't really remember who that is. He wasn't brought up at all in this episode, so I don't know if that's going to play into what Reddington's been doing, but there has been a lot of stuff going on with him that people are kind of asking questions. You know, he doesn't have a place to stay. He doesn't seem to have that much money. He's driving his own car now. Like, there's a lot of stuff that seems different about him. I'm almost wondering if he's had a double for some of this season. Like, he hasn't always been Reddington. Maybe I don't know. There are theories now sparking in my mind saying that there's some big secret he's been hiding. All I can think of is this is not Raymond. Well, we know this isn't really Raymond Reddington, but the Red that we've gotten to know, this is not him. This is a body double posing as him. The real Raymond Reddington is off doing something in the background, in the scenes, or behind the scenes, and planning something, while this guy poses as him in the foreground. It almost makes me think of like the Skrulls in what movie was that? I think it was Spider-Man, actually. Far From Home, whenever we find out that apparently the Skrulls were posing as Fury and Hill the whole time. But that's kind of what it makes me think of, though, is like somebody posing as him, and he's he's just out there to be the face of Raymond Reddington, but he's not really. That's the only thing I can think of. We'll see. I'm excited to see. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the next episode because I don't really have any other theories outside of he's not the real Raymond Reddington. And the only reason I even have that as a possible idea is because there was the moment where we saw him getting into a taxi, I think, or a car at the beginning of the season. He looked very disheveled, hair was a mess, big beard. And then the next time we see him, he looks clean shaven, no, the normal Raymond Reddington we've come to know. So that's what makes me think possibly a body double or something pretending to be him. If that's the case, who could pretend to be him? How could somebody pretend to be him? I don't know. I have theories. I don't know if any of those theories make sense or not. That's just where my mind goes to, but we'll see. So on to the next episode. I'll see you there. And finally, episode 9, The Troll Farmer Part 3. So, this is funny. I actually did look up the dates in between this one and the next one just to see, because this felt kind of mid-season finale-ish. It's not, which I find a little weird. This feels like a mid-season finale. The war with Wu Jing comes to an end. It feels like it's gearing up for Reddington, Cooper maybe having a bit of a separation, which, obviously we know Reddington's a criminal. We know what he does is awful. What he does is not always good, but with good intentions. So I've had a theory for a little while, and this kind of has pushed that theory back into a possibility for how it's going to come to an end, with the idea that Reddington is going to be kind of the final, I guess, person to go after. But the problem is I can never really reconcile in my mind throughout most of the series as I'm watching how that would make sense. Because he's working so closely with the task force, a lot of what he's doing connected to the Blacklist, it's not to go after him, it's to go after other people and help grow his empire, which he was going to give to Elizabeth. And obviously that's changed now. So I don't know what the end game for him is at this point. It feels like he's still growing his empire. I don't really understand why it seems like he's going without a lot of stuff at the moment, because now we sort of see what his plan was for a lot of this first half of the season. This building this giant setup to build another post office, which I'm thinking that's brilliant. There's probably something in place where Wu Jing's going to attack it and he can just take him out like that. But then it turns into no, I built this so that way I could send the task force there, so that way I could get into the post office, have Wu Jing come here, kill him, access the records, take my name off of all of the stuff. And while it makes sense on the face of it, it does make me wonder, where is this season going now? Are we going to continue going after blacklisters? And if so, what is that going to lead towards? What is the end game for Reddington, for this show, for the task force? How is it all going to come to an end? And I really don't have many theories. Before I would have thought, okay, it's going to lead to, will Elizabeth take over his empire or not? But obviously we know that's not going to be the end game now because she's gone. So I don't know. I feel like it's very much up in the air at the moment as far as what they could decide to do with it. We could turn Reddington into just a straight up criminal who, hey, I've tried to help, I've tried to be there for you, but I can't continue what we're doing if I want to make sure that you guys and myself stay safe. I cannot continue to work with you, which would lead toward, I'm guessing, the team deciding, well, you know what? If you're not going to help us, if you're not going to keep helping us putting terrible people away, then we have no reason not to go after you. And that could turn into that sort of rift and end with them trying to take him down and maybe reaching a point where he just takes it too far so he's less sympathetic. But at this point, I don't think many people are watching the show going, oh, I hope they catch that Reddington at the end of this. Most of us feel that level of sympathy. Because again, he's done some awful things, but they've typically been for good reasons. there have been moments where he seemed a little less sympathetic. I mean, in this one, straight up cone stole killer. Yeah, flip that, reverse it. Stone cold killer on Wu Jing and whatever his right hand man was. I mean, totally badass scene. But he did just murder two guys in cold blood. So there's that balancing act that I've done so well with Reddington to make us sympathize and not want to see him lose, not want to see him taken out. But at the same time, he probably does need to be taken out because of everything he's responsible for. So I don't know. I don't really know what they're thinking. I don't know what the idea is behind kind of ending this war and causing him to do something that essentially drives a wedge between him and the task force. Like, are they planning on turning him into the villain of this final season that the task force has to go after, or is there going to be something else that we're building up towards? Maybe there's another villain that'll show up at some point that will kind of be the new focus. Or maybe it'll just be about getting answers. I don't know, because there's still a lot of answers that I think we still don't have at the moment. Because I don't think we really even know who Raymond Reddington is fully. We still don't even know who Katerina Rostova is. Like, is she dead? Did she die a long time ago? Is she still alive? Is she dead now? There's still a lot of questions that they do need to answer. So I am guessing that we will probably start to get those answers as the season continues. I just don't know, I guess, at what point do we see this is how we're going to end it? This is what it's been leading to. This is what these final two seasons... Because the death of Elizabeth kind of felt like it could be an end for the series. Because this whole series has been about her and Red's connection. So killing her off could spell the end for the series. But they decided to bring it back for two more. So what is it going to lead to now? What are we trying to get to? What is the end game? And I just don't have any ideas at the moment, really, outside of, again, the small inkling of an idea that he would be the final villain to chase down, to put away. But I don't know how that makes sense in the idea of the Blacklist and the team and what they've been brought together to do. It feels like he would not be the final target, but at the same time, I don't... Again, that's the only idea that's even popped in my head. So yeah, that's a long little rant to say that I'm very confused. I did expect Wu Jing to be taken out before the end of the season. I did expect this war with him to not go too much longer because I figured they would start focusing in on giving us some more answers about Reddington, his past, Katerina, all of this stuff, why he chose Liz in the first place, why Katerina meant so much to him, all of that. I figured we'd be getting those answers near the end of the season, which means Wu Jing would have to take a back seat. I just didn't expect it to be not even before halfway through the season. It's episode 9. It's 22 episodes. I was not expecting it to be that quick. So the fact that we're here now, it doesn't have me worried, but it does have me curious to see what is the next step going to be. Now that Wu Jing is done, this story is now finished. Where is it going to lead next? It's a very interesting idea, and a lot of mystery involved in that. But as far as this episode is concerned, it was a very, very good episode. Finally getting some answers, finally seeing some of these things that he's been doing on the outside. It does make me wonder, because we still didn't really get an answer as to why he doesn't have any bodyguards, he doesn't have anybody driving around, all of that stuff. We don't have any answers about that. I don't know if they're trying to imply, well, everybody was so busy focusing on getting this fake post office built, or if there's something else going on that we still don't know about that maybe we'll get answers over the next few episodes. But the answers about this fake post office and all of that, I thought that was really clever and well done. The scene whenever they're letting the troll farmer get away, Chang, I thought that was a really fun scene. Just because they did play it like, oh yeah, he's getting away, we got to stop him. But there's just this subtle hint of, we're saying these things because it's what we're supposed to say. But we know what's actually going on. And just seeing them play their parts until he gets away, like, I think it went well. it was pretty predictable. I knew what was going on. I mean, we even had Wrestler at one point saying, like, are we really doing this? So there was a hint that we knew as the audience that something else was happening that wasn't quite correct. However, seeing it, it was still fun. It was still fun to watch them play those parts and act as if they were trying to stop him when they really wanted him gone. But Reddington's whole plan, sending Wu Jing to the actual post office, the fact that Chang was involved from the beginning, working for him, and like planting himself in Wu Jing's whole plan, I think that was a very interesting turn of events because he did talk about in the one episode, I think. I'm pretty sure he was talking to the one guy about there's a guy that popped up. He think they called him a friend, and to go get him before he went underground again. I kind of wonder because I don't know if we ever found out who that was. I bet that was Chang. I bet he was talking to him about all of that. If I had to take a guess, so it's just interesting to see how further ahead Reddington was from everybody, from Wu Jing, from the FBI. He was already ready to go through and just completely stop any plans Wu Jing had. So it's nice to see Reddington come out on top again because when he does, it's just so satisfying. And James Spader plays it to perfection every single time. I mean, his whole speech to the one guy, Sven, who I actually realize now because they mentioned Fisker in this episode. I think they did before too, but I don't think I really realized what he was saying. But Fisker was talked about in the last season. I don't really remember it now. I probably should because my brain should not be forgetting things that I only watched like 3 or 4 weeks ago. But I do remember there being a Fisker in the last season. So I guess this guy worked with him, and so maybe he took over for him. I don't really remember all of the details about it, but the name Fisker does sound familiar to me. But his whole speech to Sven, it was just, it was perfect. It was pitch perfect. The delivery, everything he said, the writing for it, it was just a perfect monologue to encapsulate what Raymond Reddington is. Yes, he works with the FBI. Of course he works with the FBI. Everything he has done, everything he has built, of course he works with the FBI. Has he sold people out? Yes. You know, he is the one, in his mind, that is the judge of everything in the criminal underworld. And if you step out of line, in his mind, that means this is what you deserve. And just because he's the one that makes the decision, they should be lucky that they're being arrested and not being killed by him. Like that whole thing, it just really showed where his mindset is. And again, while that's not necessarily a great thing and it doesn't make him a good guy, it does make him likable as a bad guy to watch. You know, there's something, it's that Negan effect. You know, the confidence, the arrogance that he speaks with. There's just something about it that makes you go, you know what? If I were a criminal, I'd probably work for you. Because you just, the way you say these things, it makes me want to believe in you. It makes me want to think, you know what, maybe there's a chance that what he's doing is good. So I don't know. It's so much fun to watch a good bad guy. You know, somebody who's written very well as either a villain or, again, somebody who is not necessarily a good person who works outside of the law, maybe. But if you write them interesting enough, they can be really fun to watch. And I think Reddington is one of those for me. So, all that being said, though, I think that's about it for these 3 episodes. So we'll see what happens next. But until next time, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these 3 episodes? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all the good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Blacklist reviews. And check out the channel for other Let's Plays and stuff. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. And I will talk to you all later. Peace out.